Friday morning. We are off to a rocking and rolling start here on the show. It is such a rocking and rolling start. We're going to do it twice. That was a request from Jim. It's called Heartbreaker. It's Led Zeppelin because we are playing power ballads for you on the show today. But that's not the power ballad we were supposed to start with. There was intent behind the choice of power ballad to start the show today because the suggestion came from one of you. And listen, I had already decided that there was a way to work more power ballads into the show. I'm going to try to break a rule or two along the way. As good as Zeppelin always is, that music never grows old. And Jim, I thank you for the request on this All Request Friday, but we were supposed to start right here. Does it typify the power ballad? It might. Just a small sample of what we will get on this All Request Friday. And we wanted to start there with Cinderella and Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone, because that request came in from Heather, Farwell's Force, member number 25, whose suggestion it was to do power ballads on the show today. Last week, we did disco music we thought we needed. Well, Heather thought, and I could not possibly agree more. Heather thought we needed a little bit of a palate cleanser. So we kind of start with Cinderella's and Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. There have been many requests coming in for power ballads for the show today. It seems like Heather picked a very good theme for our All Request Friday. And I've been kind of hinting at it through the week. I want to get as many of your requests onto the show as I can. I don't know if I've already broken a rule by playing 2 songs in the first 5 minutes of the show, because we're only allowed to play a minute at a time, right? Did I just double up with the music too close together? We're going to push the boundaries today and make some room for more requests. So if you've still got one that you'd like to share with us, drop me an email, mike@570news.com, or give us a call. Dev is waiting to take those calls at 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. I hope our star 570 line working today? Are we aware of it? I'm getting a thumbs up. The star 570 line is working. I'm going to try to get on as many requests as I can. It's an All Request Friday. Heather, Farwell's Force member number 25, suggested that we do power ballads today to cleanse our palates from last week's disco theme. Appreciate you, Heather, Farwell's Force member number 25, and your request for some Cinderella as we get things underway on this Friday morning, the 27th of March. Andre already on the phone with us. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say so early in the morning, Andre.
Thank you very much, Mike. Game day, baby.
Game day,
Go
baby.
Rangers.
Go Rangers. All right. Well, that's Andre is getting right to the point. It is a game day. It is Go Rangers time. And on that note, in case you missed it when I was chatting with Christine Clark a few minutes ago, just before she finished All News Mornings, we're going to give away some tickets on the show today. And I'm going to do that at 12:30. So I'm giving you several hours of advance notice. If you got to go somewhere, come back. I think that's plenty of notice, too. Like, what else are you going to do on a Friday night other than go to a Kitchener Rangers playoff game? There are 2 conditions. One is you must have an email address. That's the only way I can get you the tickets. I know this has been a bit of a pain point before, but it is the way that the world works. So you must have an email address. As long as you have an email address, we can make sure those tickets get transferred to you and you can take them to the game with you tonight. 7 o'clock puck drop. If you're not going to the game, 6:30 pregame here on 570 News Radio. But you must have an email address that we can transfer the tickets to. That's part one. Part two is you will have to answer our Rangers trivia questions. And I want Rangers fans to win these tickets today at 12:30, okay? So we often do really easy Rangers trivia. It might be a little less easy today. It's not gonna bend your brain a whole lot, but you got to answer 3 Rangers trivia questions. These are playoff tickets, okay? It's not going to be some walk in the park. Playoff tickets, 12:30, 2 pair to give away, 4 in total. So you and a friend, and then another you and another friend, okay? 12:30 today. Answer 3 Rangers trivia questions. Have an email address. You'll be going to the game tonight and joining Josh Piercy and I and thousands of your best friends watching the Rangers take on the Saginaw Spirit. Ron is also with us to start this Friday on the show. Farwell's Force member number 32. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, Farwell, and a game day.
It is a game day, baby.
Yeah, and there's so many games going on. We got the Jays opener, which I will be at, so unfortunately I will not be able to watch the Rangers, but I will be keeping an eye on that game. And also we got the Raptors playing in Toronto, too. So it's a lot of games today.
I wish you luck with the traffic, young man.
Well, I'm going early, so I'll be there before the traffic gets really bad.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Oh, I know, so.
Find me a time, Ronald, when you can actually go to Toronto and not encounter bad traffic.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Good luck.
Okay,
let me know. Let me know how it goes for you. I appreciate the call. I hope you're right, and I'm sure it happens on occasion. It has been my experience that going to Toronto is a difficult task, no matter what time of day or what day of the week. That 4:01 is just nonsense, at least from my perspective. But I wish you luck, Ron. It's a great day to be in Toronto. Blue Jays opening their 50th season. We'll get into more of that stuff when we get to the Farwell Show 5. But lots of reasons to be in a good mood today, not the least of which is the nice, bright sunshine. But what happened to the mild temperatures? It was pretty mild when Rosie and I went out for our walk yesterday. Not so this morning. It was downright cold. But I guess it's something that we have to deal with until spring really takes hold. You remember not too long ago where it was less cold. In fact, it was a pretty mild Sunday, and about 24 ice fishers got stranded near the shore of Georgian Bay when the ice broke away and they were floating out to what they thought would be surely their demise. They were calling family. It was just an awful situation, but OPP swooped in and pulled off an incredible rescue. And each and every one of the 23 would-be ice fishers were rescued. I say would-be because they didn't get to fish. They ended up being ice floaters and almost worse. So that happened up in Owen Sound. I remember we were coming back from a game in Windsor, and I was kind of watching this happen via my phone. So a counselor in Owen Sound, and I can kind of get behind this idea. But a counselor in Owen Sound is bringing forward a motion for council to consider to send the bill for the rescue to those would-be ice fishers. We've talked about this before, and the idea being that, listen, rescue crews are here for emergencies, and I guess this was one, but the counselor says this was completely avoidable. And since you didn't use common sense to avoid the inevitable, we're going to send you a bill for all of that time, all of those resources invested in rescuing you from that ice. There's precedent for this in the township of Georgina Bluffs, where somebody got stranded at the bottom of a cavern or some such thing several years back and was billed for the rescue. And there was talk about this out in British Columbia when snowmobilers would trigger avalanches by going into areas where there were avalanche warning signs posted, but they wanted to get up into that fresh snow as high as they could. They do this thing called high marking where they touch the front tip of their front ski on that snowmobile as high as they can in the mountain. And that's the game they play, and whoever gets the highest mark, I guess, is the highest marker. But they have historically triggered some avalanches, and British Columbia has looked at the same thing, billing people for the rescue efforts that are a result of them. So there's going to be consideration for this in Owen Sound. I don't know how far it will go, but I thought it was rather interesting that they are looking into sending the would-be ice fishers the bill for their rescue several weeks ago.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10.
All right, let's get to your Farwell Show 5 for this Friday morning. Number 1, Ontario is once again delaying the path to a balanced budget as one of several shock absorbers meant to ease the province down a potentially bumpy economic road ahead. The 2026 budget now projects the province will be in the black in 2028-2029 with an expectation of closing out this fiscal year $12.3 billion in the hole, and the deficit worsening to $13.8 billion in the upcoming year. The budget also allocates billions for what it calls high-growth industries, including artificial intelligence, defense, and advanced manufacturing. Number 2, a councillor in Wilmot has decided to run for mayor this October. Ward 2's Chris Wilkinson says one place Wilmot can do better is in transparency, and he's ready to step up. Natasha Salonen is finishing her first term as mayor of the township. The municipal election, as you know, is in October. Number 3 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, not only is Conestoga College laying off 400 more staff, the school has more international student spots than any other in Ontario this year. Conestoga has been allotted more than 9,000 spaces for international students, well above other post-secondary institutions in the province. Ontario, as a whole, has been allocated about 105,000 spots for international students this year, down from 235,000 in 2024. Number 4, the Blue Jays open their 50th baseball season tonight in Toronto with hopes of building on last year's World Series appearance. And the Kitchener Rangers open the playoffs tonight at home to Saginaw. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 on 570 News Radio. The Rangers are hoping to make their first Memorial Cup appearance since 2008. Head coach Jussi Ahokas is here for the Coaches Show this morning at 10:30. And number 5 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, the anime behind Anna Mae's Bakery and Restaurant in Millbank has passed away. Anna Mae Wagler was 74. The restaurant remains a thriving business, and its current owners say it's because Anna Mae had the vision and the courage to pursue her vision to build something truly special. We will miss Anna Mae. I mentioned that last Memorial Cup appearance for the Kitchener Rangers back in 2008. We hosted that one in Kitchener, and in the media room for that Memorial Cup, not only did we have a freezer full of ice cream, oh my goodness, but Anna Mae's pies were a part of the media room experience, because when you're in this part of Ontario, you're that close to Anna Mae's. It was, they still remain something pretty special. Anna Mae Wagler passing away at the age of 74.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
And that is your Farwell Show 5 for this Friday morning. Fridays, as you know, mean a number of regular things. I already mentioned the Coaches Show with Rangers head coach Jussi Ahokas. Our Friday 4 Roundtable happens from 11 until noon as we discuss the week's big stories. Noon to 1, Free Phones Friday. We always close out our week together with some conversation led by you between noon and 1. We also do All Request Friday. This week's theme is power ballads. We're going to have some hair metal this week. I am sure of it. And on Fridays, we also like to have a little fun with something we call the not $1 million question. It's the not $1 million question because you do not win $1 million for getting the answer right. But we will be very impressed with you. We will talk about you all weekend. Do you remember that person that we heard on the Farwell show Friday morning that got the right answer to the not $1 million question? That's the smartest person I know. So let's see how smart you are or how smart you feel this morning. Here is your not $1 million question for this Friday morning. More than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are they? What is it that more than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of? You think you know the answer? You want to take a stab at it? More than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these? 519-570-2545, star 570, 1-800-570-5715. We'll take your guesses as to the answer of the not $1 million question. Right after this, it's the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio.
Anybody find me somebody to love? Each morning I get out my diary, can barely stand on my feet. Take a look at yourself in the mirror and cry. Lord, what you doing to me here? I have spent all my years in believing you, but I just can't get no relief. Lord, somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me somebody to love?
A little bit of Queen and Somebody to Love for Sandy on this All Request Friday, Power Ballads edition. That was a theme suggested to us by Heather. That's why we played Cinderella right near the beginning of the show today. That is a power ballad, maybe a power ballad and a half. And that's your All Request Friday theme this week. Power ballads. Sandy wanted to hear Somebody to Love by Queen. If you want to hear a power ballad, at least up to 1 minute of said song, we'll play it for you during the show today. Just drop me an email, mike@570news.com. Something else we do on Fridays is what we call the not $1 million question. Just have a little fun with it. Today's question, more than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these that we are overwhelmed by having too many of? Let's go to the phones. We'll start with Joe. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Mike.
What are you overwhelmed by having too many of?
Well, I work in IT, so this one was pretty easy for me. Passwords.
That is a very good guess, Joe. Not the answer we're looking for, but because we're not supposed to, you work in IT, we're not supposed to keep using the same password at different places, are we?
Exactly. We have to change it every 3 months also.
I get those reminders from this company as well. Not the answer we're looking for, Joe, but a great guess.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too. Thanks for the call. Really good to hear from you. That is an excellent guess. Didn't even occur to me. I am overwhelmed by those passwords. It's a good thing that our phones and our computers tend to remember them for us now, right? I'm still not so sure about that, though. Like, couldn't somebody just get my phone and hack into my phone and they have all my passwords? I don't know. Bill, Farwell's Force member number 360. Good morning.
Good morning. Go Jays, go Rangers.
I love it. Let's do it. Both teams, big wins tonight.
I hope so. How about remote controls?
Remote controls is one of the things I thought of as well, but also not the answer we're looking for, Bill. Sorry.
Okay, see you later.
Thanks for playing along. Appreciate it. You know, the remote control thing, apparently, like, aren't guys supposed to like having all of the remote controls at their disposal? And then, of course, you have a dog sitter come over and you have to leave these lengthy explanations with photographs printed off so they can see what buttons to push to make the stuff work. Like, come on with your coming on. What happened? Maybe I just need to get a universal remote. Remember when the universal remote was the thing that, did all of the things for you? Anyway, I went on a bit of a tangent there. I find the number of remote controls frustrating, even though upstairs we have like 2. Downstairs I have too many, but that's a whole other story. Not the answer we're looking for. Let's see if Francis knows the answer. Farwell's Force, member number 36. Good morning, Francis.
Good morning, and I got the answer.
Okay, more than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these, Francis?
These are too many commercials, wherever you look with AI, whatever you want to call it. They're telling us what we should do or don't do, and God give me grace.
Francis, you know that commercials, wherever you see them and or hear them, are very important to me keeping a job. You know that, right?
Well, I'll help you out on that. If we get this AI crap that they bring up, they think we don't know nothing anymore. AI knows more.
It's a very good guess, Francis, but I'm afraid it's not the answer we're looking for.
Oh, come on. God bless.
God bless, Francis. Thank you for the call. Like a dagger right into my heart. Here's the thing, okay? The minute that you think the commercial has played too many times is about the right amount of time for it to have played, because that means it's starting to sink in. And truly, I have my bias in this regard, but I will never fast forward through or skip by the commercial breaks because they make this world go round for people doing the things that we do. Clinton is with us, Farwell's Force member number 35. Morning, Clinton.
Morning, Mike.
You had a nice little run of back-to-back correct guesses in this game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get back on that streak again.
All right.
I'll give a backup just in case.
Okay, more than half of us say we're overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these?
Choices.
Choices. I like that. It's like when you're going through the streaming menu, right? You're like, what am I going to stop and watch? Or you're looking online at the menu before you go to dinner. You're like, what am I going to eat?
Exactly.
Not the answer we're looking for, but a very good guess. Do me a favor. Email me your backup, okay? I want to see if you got it right.
I don't actually have a backup today.
Oh, I thought you said you had one. My bad. Okay.
No, I was wondering if you had a backup just in case I won.
I got a backup question. I do. Because I worry about people like you smarty pants out there. But not today, my friend. I got the better of you.
Okay, bye.
All right, Clinton, take care. More than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these? We'll take more guesses. Let that sink in for a little bit. You can drop me an email, mike@570news.com. More than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these? We'll take more guesses around 9:45. I promise to give you the answer before 10. Our not $1 million question on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio. Mike wanted to hear Night Ranger and Sister Christian on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition. I realized as I went through the requests this morning, I really missed the 1980s. We had some decent music then. I'm always going to be a classic rock 1970s guy, but some great power ballads. Night Ranger and Sister Christian for Mike on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition. What will come next? I guess you'll just have to wait about 10 minutes or so until that next song comes along. Right now, we dive into our daily conversations, and this one, an important one about immigration. We have talked about it. Heck, we were talking about international students in the Farwell Show 5 today. maybe a subset of immigration. We talk all the time about the number of people that have been welcomed to Canada, what that has done to our population, and the strain it has put various services under: healthcare, transportation, etc. Tara Bedard is the executive director of the Waterloo Region Immigration Partnership and joins us for the conversation this morning. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. When we talk about immigration, kind of in the context that I just shared, because it has been a topic of conversation, there's no question about it, that so many people and are our communities really ready? Do we have the infrastructure necessary to support the number of people that are moving into those communities? Are conversations like that missing the point or missing some context?
I think the conversations like that are really important, but focusing just on the numbers is not enough. You can always debate, whether there's too much immigration, too little immigration, but more importantly, I think we need to remember the role of immigration, which is community building and nation building. Canada wouldn't exist as a country that it is today were it not for immigration. The people who originally came and settled this country as it is today, they were the first immigrants into Canada. And then, their descendants and successive waves of new migrants have continued to build the country together with Indigenous people. And so the numbers are important. Being thoughtful and planning the right numbers, the right mix is important. But not to the point where we're questioning the need for immigration in and of itself.
I think it is an important point to remember, and it's been said often in these conversations around immigration that we are all, in many ways, immigrants to this land. When we look at, the early German Mennonite settlers right here in the region of Waterloo, for example. So what makes immigration still important to this community today, Tara?
Immigrants, together with everyone else, are building up this community. For the last 20 years, immigration has specifically been a focus, supporting immigration to be successful because it is economically and socially significant. At 130,000 plus people, immigrants are more than 30% of the population. Immigrants are business owners. They are employees in the businesses that are operating and thriving in this regional community. They're a significant component of the care economy, and the people who are working in our hospitals and other healthcare settings, providing care to people in this region. There are neighbors. They're providing arts, cultural, other opportunities that everybody in the community can enjoy. Highly engaged in volunteering and philanthropy. So together with everyone else, immigrants are making this a community that is prosperous for everyone, and a community that's better for everyone. And so our work through the Immigration Partnership, we're working across immigrant and community service organizations. We're working with the business community, our post-secondary institutions, our municipal governments, cultural organizations, faith organizations, and more, so that as new immigrants are coming into the community, they're able to get settled quickly so that they can give back together with everyone else.
I think sometimes, Tara, when we focus on the numbers, we kind of get this sense that, there are this many new people in the community and they just sort of arrive here and we all try to figure it out, which I think obviously overlooks the network of supports that exist to ensure that there is some kind of integration, seamless integration of newcomers into the community, along with the Immigration Partnership Network. What kind of supports are we making available to newcomers?
This is an incredibly service-rich community in general, and that extends also to immigrants. So we have an exceptional network of organizations that are working to support refugees who are being resettled into Canada and coming into Waterloo Region through groups like Reception House Waterloo Region. We have a number of healthcare clinics that are, providing targeted healthcare services for refugees. We have employment services and specialized to support immigrants and meet their unique needs as they're getting settled into the workplace through mentorship programs at the Y or the Connectors program at the Multicultural Center or through employment programs at organizations like Cambridge and other places. We have really good language learning programs through Conestoga College, St. Louis, English at First, who are helping people who, need to improve their English language skills or, really focus in on kind of workplace-specific language to help people be more successful in the workplace. Like a whole range of community service organizations. There are lots of employers in this region who are working on developing, their internal practices when it comes to having a more diverse workforce so that, employee relations are good and, the business grows. Through faith communities and cultural communities, these are really important places of connection and support for people as they're coming into the community. And a lot of work, to help a more diverse group of people coming into the community find their place, be socially connected, and be ready to give back and contribute together with everyone else.
As someone who does the work that you do through the Waterloo Region Immigration Partnership, how do you react to the kinds of conversations that we have been having for a year and more now about immigration in this country, in this community?
I feel that the conversations we often, and a lot of the headlines revolve around the numbers. The conversation about the numbers when it comes to immigration are important because we do need to have capacity for everybody who is living together in this country. And it is important that we have an immigration system, that is working well in tandem with all of our other systems and infrastructure so that, everybody together is able to live in conditions that are good for them.
How confident are you that we have the capacity here in the region to continue doing the work that you've done and integrate newcomers into the community?
So we're building the capacity. We don't get to determine the number of people who do come into Waterloo Region. So what our focus on here in this regional community is responding, as people come into the community, whether it's a year of large immigration or the numbers are down, that we're responding, that we have the services in place for the people who are coming here and meeting the needs so that they are able to be successful quickly. Conversations about numbers are important. We do need to have good governance of our immigration system, but most importantly, we're trying to build a supportive network so that people can be successful, so that, the kind of pressure points that we've experienced as a community in the last couple of years, we don't experience. We don't want that for immigrants. We don't want that for anybody else. We want immigration to be working well, and that's what our partners through the Immigration Partnership are focused on, that immigration works well together with everything else in the community.
Tara, I appreciate the time on the show this morning and the work that you and the others at the Immigration Partnership have been doing. Thanks very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much. Take care.
You too. Bye now. Tara Bedard is the Executive Director of the Waterloo Region Immigration Partnership, for decades now, doing that heavy lifting, if you will, to ensure that we are integrating newcomers into the community as seamlessly as possible. There's no question that we have experienced challenges, right? We saw with the explosion of international students, and I'll tie this back into what we talked about during the Farwell Show 5 this morning, Conestoga College, again this year, having more allotments for international students than any other post-secondary institution in the province. But the number at just over 9,000 pales in comparison to what the numbers had been. And when the numbers were as large as they were, we saw the strain on our transit system. We saw the strain on housing, right? And at the macro level, we have seen those strains clear across the country, and there's no disputing them. Concerns about that and conversations around that should not be dismissed out of hand. But it's far more complex than that. Remember that we once had, and I don't want to point a finger at the most recently departed Liberal leader here in Canada and the immigration ministers and what may have gone wrong, but clearly there was a flawed plan. We took an immigration system that was the envy of many other parts of the world, and we kind of gummed it up pretty significantly. But when you start to peel back the layers, it doesn't change the fact that we are not just an aging population, we are an aged population. We're already old. Our birth rate is down, and if we want to have the workers in the economy of the future, then we had best figure out a way to import, if you will, those workers and go back to that system that was, that point-based system that was so envied by so many other nations. It's about more than just the cold, hard numbers. It is as simple as that. Glad we could have the conversation with Tara Bedard, Executive Director of the Waterloo Region Immigration Partnership this morning. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, not only will you get the next in the Power Ballad requests on our All Request Friday theme, but we'll take more of your guesses as to the answer to our not $1 million question today. More than half of us say that we are overwhelmed by the number of these that we have. What are these? Dan, very cheeky via email to Mike at 570news.com. Is it blue bins? I see where you're going, Dan. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. Okay, I might, because I'm overwhelmed by all the blue bins, green bins, black bins, wheels on the bins, roll them out, point them in the right direction. It's very overwhelming, but it's not the answer we're looking for. Our not $1 million question today. More than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these? We'll take more guesses right after this on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio. Nate wanted to hear some Queensryche and Silent Lucidity on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition. Kudos to our board operator today, Devin Robertson, who is getting to the heart of the power ballad. Because you know how power ballads work, right? There's usually a long, slow build, and we want to make sure you get to the meat and potatoes of it. And Dev did a great job right there, ensuring, indeed, that was the case. Queensryche, Silent Lucidity. By request from Nate, Farwell's Force, member number 8, on this All Request Friday, Power Ballads edition. Something else we do on Fridays is what we call the not $1 million question. More than half of us say we are overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these? Let's go back to the phones, take more guesses. Rockin' Ronnie, good morning.
Sarzy, how are you?
I'm great, Weebs. How are you?
I'm good. Looking forward to the night.
Oh, you and me both, my friend. You and me both.
Baby, eh?
Yes, sir.
I was thinking number 326, by the way.
Farwell's Force. Attaboy.
I didn't forget that now, right? Anyway, the one I thought was maybe shoes or clothes.
Ronnie, a good guess. Just make sure you wear your Rangers clothes tonight, okay?
I always do.
Attaboy. Not the answer we're looking for, but that came in via email as well. Too many clothes in the closet. That's not what is overwhelming us. Jerry, another Farwell's Force member, number 96. Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you think?
I was going to say our Force brother there, number 36, I think, going to the Blue Jay game tonight. I said, doesn't matter what time there you get there. It's going to be the trip home. That's going to be the nightmare because everything finishing all pretty close at the same time.
That's a good point. Raptors letting out, Blue Jays letting out. Oh, my goodness. Dogs and cats living together. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my guess is I'm going to say friends or relationships.
Oh, that's interesting. Somebody else guessed that via email as well. Not the answer we're looking for. You think that's overwhelming, eh? You have too many friends? I wish I had that problem, Jerry.
Well, you know, that's true, but you just get so busy, and especially, you know, if you're at the age where you've got young children and trying to, you know, look after them and do what they need to do, and then nurturing your friends or relationships can become overwhelming. And the other thing is the traffic. I heard a study where people are having a hard time maintaining friendships and relationships, even with family, across Southern Ontario because what used to take you 20 minutes to get there is now 45 minutes to an hour.
Isn't that interesting? I really like that, Jerry. And I think it's a great guess, and I love your reasoning for it. Not the answer we're looking for. But let's see if Durham John up in Grey County, Farwell's Force member number 325, knows the answer. Hey, John, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, my friend. What do you think? More than half of us say we're overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these?
How about annoying coworkers?
Get in line, pal. I bet you I got more than you got. Not the answer, but thanks for the laugh.
Thanks, man.
All right, buddy. Durham John checking in. A little cheeky. I'm here for it, but not the answer we're looking for. Marianne, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Too many TV channels to pick from what to watch.
500 channels and nothing on, Marianne.
Yeah.
Not the answer we're looking for, but thanks for guessing.
Go Blue Jays, go Rangers, go.
I love it. Both of them. Let's go Jays, let's go Rangers. The only channel you usually need, by the way, is 20. Rogers Cable, channel 20. We're not on there. I've been getting a lot of emails about that until the end of the OHL playoffs, okay? But we're right here on 570 News Radio every day between 9 and 1. And on Fridays, our not $1 million question. More than half of us say we're overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these? For me, this is personal, and my answer was emails in my inbox. Oh, do I get stressed by having too many emails? But that's not the answer either. The actual answer to the question, more than half of us say we're overwhelmed by having too many of these. What are these? Pictures on our phones. There you go. And you know what? I can relate. You take pictures of everything. It's too easy. And then you got so many pictures, you're overwhelmed by them. Pictures on our phone, the answer to our not $1 million question this morning on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio.
The Mike Farwell Show
on 570 News Radio.
That is Skid Row, and I Will Remember You on an all-request Friday Power Ballads edition. Jack Starr made that request, not a Jack Wagon. I hope Jack is not saying he's the star of Jack Wagonry. We will remind you before 10:30 that not everybody is a jackwagon, a story to share with you before 10:30 this morning. But Power Ballads, our theme on All Request Friday. And Devin tells me all of our Power Ballads are now filled up. So you'll just have to pay attention very carefully which Power Ballad comes next. Our next guests they might play Power Ballads in their own way, but a group of talented musicians I have had the privilege of working with on not one, but several fundraisers over the years. And I'm really glad to have them with us this morning to share a little bit more of their story. I'm joined by the music director and conductor of the Windjammers, Canada's premier pop winds ensemble. Charles Cousins is here. Charles, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
Not too bad. Thank you.
Glad to hear it. And Bev Ritchie is with us as well. She is a vocalist and a damn fine one, if I do say so myself, with the Windjammers. Bev, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike. Oh, that's such a nice welcome. Thank you.
It's great to have you here, and it's certainly warranted a welcome like that. Charles, if I could start with you as the music director and conductor of these Windjammers, I don't think I could possibly do it service enough. So I'll leave it to your expertise. Tell me a little more about who and what the Windjammers are all about.
Well, the Windjammers is a collective of very, very talented musicians that come from various different walks of life. Some of them are professional musicians. Others are professional music educators. We also have some very, very other talented individuals in the orchestra that play well, that are doctors and research scientists and geneticists. So a bit of a hodgepodge there, but a really, really good one. What's fantastic about it is there's an enormous amount of talent and skill from all of the individual personnel in the orchestra. And everybody comes together in this particular collective to provide music and entertainment to other charities in order to raise money for various different causes, and especially for, I would say, needy children. And we've done that. We've affiliated with many, many charities across Canada and some international ones as well.
Bev, what was it, or how did you find the Windjammers yourself?
Well, at the time, I was actually working in administration for the Rose Theatre Brampton, and it happened that the singer that was supposed to sing a Vera Lynn medley for a Remembrance Day show was unable to sing, and it was kind of short notice, but someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, would you be willing to give this a try? And that was under the previous conductor, Harry Curry, who's well known in this community as well, late Harry Curry. So as soon as I sang that first night with Windjammers, I was hooked. And yeah, it's going on 14 years, my time with Windjammers, doing really good work across the community.
That's incredible. What was it like stepping up for that first time? Because I know a little bit about your musical background, but when you get that tap on the shoulder as kind of the understudy or the last minute call up, what's that like for you that first time?
You know, it's like if you were to see it play in a TV show or a movie, it would be like they were tapping my little singer 9-year-old self on the shoulder, because it was such a dream to be able to step into such a beautiful theater with such a talented group, to sing music that's really been dear to me. I'm a bit of an old soul, so everything we do with the band touches me. And not to say we only do music from 20s, 30s, 40s. We're doing music, cinematic music from films. We're doing popular songs. Recently, Charles arranged 14G for me, which is kind of my party piece. It's a Broadway party piece for those out there that are Broadway fans. And so it really gives me the chance to sing all kinds of music and partner my love of supporting communities and my community loving self with music, which is the best part.
And Charles, that ties into what you were saying a moment ago about the sort of charitable aspect that the Windjammers always associates themselves with. And that's why we've had the opportunity to collaborate over the years, or I've been at an event where the Windjammers are performing, particularly, you said, you know, focusing on charities that may involve children in need. But why that component of what you do? Why bring your talents, abilities, and music to audiences where there's a charitable connection? What makes that important?
What makes that important for me is it's very simple. I've had an extremely successful career as a professional conductor and composer arranger, working in film, television, over 200 CD recordings featuring my work all over the world, and having conducted right across Canada all the major symphony orchestras, well into the States, Russia and Cuba and a number of other places. And so I'm sort of from the school that, if you're taking something out of the system, you should really, put something back. And so for this particular endeavor with the Windjammers, I donate my time to this organization to help achieve its goals.
One of those recent goals is to create a recording that will become the permanent and lasting tribute to the history and the future of this wonderful ensemble. How can folks support your efforts in getting this recording done, Charles?
Well, simply put, Mike, doing a professional recording in a big recording studio costs quite a bit of money. And so we're certainly open for donations to help us achieve that goal. We've already have had several donations come in, but we're looking for more. And for an ensemble of this size, which is about 45 musicians and percussion and everything, it takes a lot of floor area. And so you need a large studio. Large studios are expensive. And in this case, we'd be recording at Revolution Recording in Toronto, Revolution Sound, which has a large floor area and can accommodate that size of an orchestra. And yes, it does cost quite a bit of money. So we're on a campaign right now to raise funds for that particular recording, which is going to take place the weekend of June 20th, 21. I believe that's Father's Day weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Bev, where did this idea to preserve the history and point to the future of the Windjammers come from, to create this recording?
So we have over the years recorded some smaller recordings, not in the ideal spaces, and it really doesn't live up to the quality that is this band and the performers in it and the time that they're donating. And so this would allow us to touch and reach even more charities that would bring us on board for their campaigns. We did, over the course of a couple of concerts recently, partnering with the CF Gala, raise $13,000 for cystic fibrosis, as you may know. And we do have some exciting news to share that we're announcing this morning, actually. So we have received a special matching gift from an anonymous donor. And for every $1 that you, and I'm speaking to your viewers and yourself, donate to between now and May 1st to our campaign, a matching donation will be made to the Windjammers Recording Project, up to a maximum of $10,000.
That's unreal.
It is. It's super exciting for us, and we're really hopeful that members of the community that may have attended our concerts in the past or may be interested in the work that we do, if they're interested in making a donation, all they need to do is send an email to our administrative team and they'll walk them through the donation process. It's just info@windjammers.ca. And Windjammers is spelled WINDJAMMERS.
Windjammers.ca, a $10,000 matching donation. So for every $1 we put in, up to $10,000, we're going to reach that $20,000 goal that you're hoping for, which is just a fantastic number. And again, for those who have had the chance to experience a Windjammers performance at a charitable event, fantastic. Or to ensure, too, that this ensemble is there to support these events, which you have been doing for decades already. The thought, Bev, of the studio experience, I know that's different than those live shows you're putting on, and Charles alluded to, a studio this size to incorporate everyone. But when you think about that studio experience, what do you think about laying down a recording like this?
You're going to make me cry, Mike. I'm not joking. This group of individuals is the kindest, most talented group I've ever had the pleasure to work with, and the opportunity to record a professional recording with our maestro Charles Cousins at the helm is an absolute dream, and I could not wish for a more important thing for me to be part of. From my heart, I truly can't say enough.
I believe that, knowing the person that you are, Bev. And Charles, as you consider corralling this group of talented musicians and performers to lay down that recording, what does it mean to really cementing the legacy of what Windjammers is all about?
That's a really great question. I came into the orchestra, I think it was 2017, and have worked very closely with all of the members of the orchestra to, certainly raise the level of performance ability as much as possible. And I think that over the last several years, the band has been sounding better and better and better and better. And I'm certainly very, very proud of them. They all take music direction incredibly well from me. And everybody is there, in rehearsal for the right reasons. Nobody is paid out of this orchestra, not myself and not any of the personnel, not Beverly. So everybody is there to do some good, put something back into the community. And so with their skill and talent, which, we've been developing, certainly over the decades, but specifically in the last few years leading up to this recording.
I have said many times that there is a bounty of talent, particularly musically, in this community. And not to overemphasize the point, having been a part of or in the audience for many Windjammers performances past, absolutely love what you do. And so exciting about that $10,000 match. We will point people to windjammers.ca, that email address, info@windjammers.ca. Let's get to that $20,000 goal. Let's get you into that studio in June. The studio big enough to do you justice for the performances you put on and make that an all-important recording. Charles and Bev, thank you both very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Beverly Ritchie is a vocalist with the Windjammers. Charles Cousins is its music director and conductor. Visit windjammers.ca, learn more about this fabulous group, and hey, let's help them get to that $20,000 goal. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. It is Lita Ford and the one and only Ozzy Osbourne, by request from Andrea on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition. Song is called Close My Eyes Forever, as we fill our ears with the sounds of power ballads on our All Request Friday theme this week. Heather recommended the theme, or suggested it, after last week's disco theme. Heather thought we needed bit of a palate cleanser, and we've got it by way of power ballads on our All Request Friday this week. Just before we heard Ozzy and Lita Ford, commercial for the KW Titans. Big win for them last night over Kokomo at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. My beloved and I able to take in the game. It's always a good time, very entertaining. And before 11, we're going to hear from the co-owner and head coach of the KW Titans about tomorrow's final regular season home game and preparation for the playoffs. There's also a very important connection, a theme to that KW Titans game that's happening tomorrow at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. So we'll talk about that just after 10:45 this morning. Right now, it is that time of the show. We like to pause for a moment and just give you the reminder, because sometimes if you listen too close or you get too frustrated, you might start thinking that every single person you encounter every single day is the biggest jackwagon you have ever met. But that's not the case. In your heart of hearts, I know that you know that's not the case. But just in case, we like to offer you the little reminder. And so here we go. We've had lots of stories on this segment, in fact, about doorbell cameras that have led to internet fundraising for retirements or some fundraising for overwhelmed moms. But today's doorbell camera tells a different story. Bernadette Williams caught a porch pirate in the act of stealing a package right off the steps of her home. But it was Bernadette's message of kindness that stopped that would-be thief in her tracks.
You better than that. Get some help. You better than that. I love you. God loves you.
I love you. God loves you. You're better than that. And the porch pirate must have agreed, because she stopped mid-theft, if you will, and said she was sorry. And then Bernadette took it one step further, offered the would-be thief $7. That was all the money that Bernadette had.
Let's hope that Philadelphians would say we are a part of this community and we can make our community better.
We can make our community better just by extending a little bit of kindness. Bernadette hopes this moment of compassion inspires others, not just the woman involved, but anyone who hears the story, to choose kindness when it matters the most. Our Not Everybody is a Jackwagon story today, coming to us from Philadelphia and reminding us that kindness costs us nothing. I mean, I guess in this case it cost Bernadette like $7, but you know what I'm saying here. It's a reminder that sometimes a little bit of compassion and a little bit of kindness goes a long way. I received an email from Pat to Mike at 570news.com. Pat's email reads, my friend Lauren, who I support and work with each week, has for 4 years been collecting hats, mitts, and socks for distribution. This past winter, she gave out just over 1,600 pieces of winter wear to numerous community organizations. Working with Lauren is a blast. She has an incredibly generous heart. Lauren, somebody right here in our community who is definitely not a jackwagon. Pat, thank you very much for sharing that story. If you've got a story that you would like to share about someone who is most certainly not a jackwagon, we are all ears. Just drop me an email anytime. Mike at 570news.com, and I would love to share their story. Every day around 10:20 on the show, we take a break from talking about all the jackwagons and their jackwagonry and remind you that not everybody is a jackwagon. This is a game day, of course. It's a Friday, and it's a playoff game day. Not only that, but we're giving away 2 pairs of Kitchener Rangers tickets on the show today. 12:30. Mark it down, set a timer or an alarm if you have to, so that you're back to participate in the contest to win a pair of Rangers tickets. We got 2 pairs to give away at 12:30 today. Right now, it's off to the 570 News Center for an update. And then let's get you game ready with the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers, Usia Hokus, joins us next for the Coaches Show. This is 570 News Radio. It is not just any old Friday. We always know that Fridays are game days here in the fine city of Kitchener. But in this case, it's a playoff game day. The second season is finally here. We've played 68 regular season games, and your Kitchener Rangers will open the playoffs tonight on home ice versus the Saginaw Spirit, as he has been doing all season long. The head coach of the Kitchener Rangers, UC Ahokas, joins us for the Coaches Show on Friday mornings at this time. UC, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Just before we talk about what's ahead with Saginaw and the playoffs, I wanted to go back to last Saturday in Owen Sound. Your team was down 6-1 in the third period, and you had a bunch of kids out there playing for you, some in their first OHL game. What was going through your mind behind the bench when that comeback started?
Well, first of all, I didn't think it was a 6-1 game, and then they scored, but and then you never know, but you need to keep pushing, and we got the one, and then we got one more, and then you kind of, everybody started believing, and then boys started scoring, but yeah, we still lost, so, but it was good experience for the new boys and the guys who haven't played that much to get a little bit more ice time, what they've used to, and just also for us to rest some of our boys, other guys.
What does that tell you about the depth in this organization beyond just the team you usually dress, but, you know, for the seasons to come, the kinds of players you have within this organization?
Well, just for me, that tells like we've done a good job in recruiting, and that's if you're a good team, that's what you should have. You should have depth, and I think there's a lot of interesting young players who can take the next steps in the next couple of years.
You finished the regular season in first place in the Western Conference. You had 101 points. Second straight year you had 100 points or more. So you come into these playoffs, UC, as a pretty heavy favorite in the Western Conference. How do you approach the games when you are such a heavy favorite?
Well, you have to play the games. You go game by game, and now the season starts again. Only thing what it gives you that we played well, and then we get the home ice. So that's of course that's huge. But all in all, it's game by game, and playoffs you have to have a short memory.
You talk about home ice, and it was very good to you all season long, including a 14-game winning streak on home ice. What makes the team better at the Memorial Auditorium?
Well, of course, the fans. They're great. The atmosphere. And then all in all, I think just our facility and just our everything, how we work. So it's kind of clear, but the biggest thing is the fans, for sure.
Saginaw kind of comes into this series with not much to lose because they're a big underdog. How important is it that your team sets the tone to start this series tonight?
It's a game, one game at a time. And of course, every game's important, and we need to be ready. They have a good offensive. They have good offense. They're a good part of special teams. Like we have to be. Their goalie can get hot. So yeah, we need to be dialed in from the start. And yeah, playoffs are always a new thing, but I think if we play hard, and we play smart. That's when you can have a good start. But I wouldn't say too much about. Of course, yeah, if you're number one seed, you're the favorite, but you have to do the work. That's the thing. You have to be ready to do the work to get those wins. So I bet it'll be a good series.
Saginaw has Nikita Klepoff on the team. He led the OHL in scoring this past season. Besides him, you mentioned the offense that Saginaw has. What is it that makes the Spirit a dangerous opponent?
Well, they're a good rush team. Their ozone play, they play. You can't give them time and space. You have to play heavy against them. And then all in all, like just that they're looking for offense every single time. So that's where you have to be smart and defend well.
We're finally at game number 69, game number 1 of the playoffs. Does it feel any different as you approach the game tonight, UC?
Well, we hope that it isn't. Of course, it's playoffs is playoffs, but It's every game should be the most important game in the season. So we kind of go on from there, and we just try to keep getting better. And that's in the playoffs. Still, you need to see those teams who still keep improving their game. They win. So that's what we try to do.
Really looking forward to it as always. We'll see you at the rink tonight, UC. Thank you for this.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
UC Ahokas is the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers. That philosophy, we've been talking to UC Ahokas now. This is the beginning of his third playoff as the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers. And the message remains the same. Every game is just one more game. And with that one more game comes your next opportunity to get better. That's it. Now, you know, look, this town's already buzzing. I mentioned earlier, my beloved and I were at the Titans game last night, and a lot of people stopped by to say hi and wanted to talk about the Rangers game tonight. I get it. And I'm right there with you. This Ranger team kind of took control of the Midwest Division and really the Western Conference in the last month, certainly since the trade deadline, when this team was just incredible in terms of the points it was picking up and the way it was playing the game. So we've all been very anxious for this time to arrive, the time of the second season, right? The playoffs begin tonight. And yes, on paper, the Rangers are a heavily favored team. If I had my druthers, I would have preferred Guelph and or Owen Sound, mostly for the easier travel, Guelph in particular, the easiest travel. But my preferred opponent would have been Owen Sound, just on paper, because they don't have the same number of game breakers. Even Guelph, despite where they finished in the standings and the tough end to the season for the Storm, they've got some players that can really hurt you. And now you look at this Saginaw team, and you look at Nikita Klepov, who led the entire Ontario Hockey League in points this season, Igor Barabanov, Dima Zhilkin. There is talent. Levi Harper on the blue line for Saginaw. They've got some game breakers on that Saginaw team. Now, the Rangers won all 4 regular season games against the Spirit. And yes, by points and on paper, the Rangers are a better, deeper, perhaps more complete team. But a team with as much talent as Saginaw has, with nothing to lose, they're just going out here and they're going to gain some playoff experience, and they can burn you. So the Rangers will have to be at their best. And as you heard from UC Ahokas a moment ago, he will make sure, to the best of his coaching abilities, and I think we've seen what those coaching abilities are like, haven't we, over these last number of years. He'll have this team ready tonight. I cannot wait for puck drop. If you would like to go to the game tonight, clear your schedule and make sure you're with us at 12:30 today, when we give away not one but 2 pairs of Kitchener Rangers tickets to tonight's game versus Saginaw. You can be in the crowd with us at the Memorial Auditorium for Game 1 of these 2026 playoffs. That's at 12:30. We'll give away 2 pairs of tickets. If you can't make the game tonight, oh, by the way, to win those tickets, you must have an email address. I forgot to emphasize that earlier. It's the only way we can get the tickets into your hands, okay? They're electronic. We'll transfer them into your inbox, and then they are yours. But you must have an email address in order to win the tickets at 12:30 today, okay? If you can't make it to the game, that's okay, because as usual, we have you covered right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. Josh Piercy and I will get things started with your Harris Law pregame show at 6:30. And then when the puck drops at 7, we've got all the action between the Rangers and the Spirit. And then when the game is done, Josh and I stay late. After every home game, we stick around, take your calls during Rangers Talk. So you get complete coverage from pillar to post right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. It all starts at 6:30 tonight. This may be night number 1, game number 1 of the playoffs for the Kitchener Rangers, but the OHL playoffs got underway last night on 4 fronts, and we saw a couple of shutouts and 1 blowout in the 4 games that were played. We'll start in Barrie, where the Colts opened their playoff with a 4-1 win over the Niagara Ice Dogs. It was a scoreless game after 1, but then the Colts got going in the second and galloped to a 4-1 win over the Ice Dogs. The blowout, that happened in Flint. The Firebirds laid a whooping, and I do mean a whooping, on the Owen Sound Attack. It was an 8-1 final as Flint jumped out to a 7-0 lead in the game. That is a little bit icky for the Owen Sound Attack. And Jacob Battaglia of the Firebirds, acquired in a trade earlier this season with the Kingston Frontenacs, had 6 points. 6! 2 goals and 4 assists. Again, Flint, an 8-1 whitewashing of the Owen Sound Attack. And then how about those shutouts? Joey Costanzo picks up the shutout as the Windsor Spitfires blank the Guelph Storm 4-0. And Jack Lisson of the North Bay Battalion posts the shutout as the battalion beat the Peterborough Petes 1-0. So, Barrie, the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, picks up a win. They lead Niagara 1-0. Flint is the 2 seed here. No, the 3 seed, pardon me. The 3 seed in the West. And they pick up a 1-0 series lead on the 6th seeded Owen Sound Attack. Windsor is the 2 seed in the West. They've got the 1-0 series lead on Guelph. And North Bay is the 5 seed in the East. So they win on the road, the battalion do. And the 4th-ranked Peterborough Petes are now playing from behind in their opening round series with the battalion. Jack Lisson, as I mentioned, got that shutout. A lot of talk with North Bay, if you've been following the league. Mike McIver, the battalion's starting goaltender, if you will, just recently back from an injury and posted a shutout in his first game back. But the battalion went to Jack Lisson, and he rewarded them with a shutout in the first playoff game. North Bay over Peterborough, 1-0. They lead the series by the same score. It's the Rangers and the Spirit tonight. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 right here on 570 News Radio. We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk KW Titans, who had a big win last night and are getting set to start the playoffs. The Titans in first place right now in the Basketball Super League. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. That, of course, Bon Jovi. Wanted Dead or Alive by request from Craig on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition. Well, it was a power performance from your KW Titans last night as they beat up on the Kokomo Bobcats at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. The head coach of the Titans is Cliff Clinkscales. Coach Cliff joins us on the show this morning. Good morning, Coach Cliff.
Good morning, Mike Farwell. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, like always.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Great to have you here. And along with Coach Cliff, David Schooley, the co-owner of the basketball club, is with us as well. Good morning to you, David.
Good morning, Mike. Always a pleasure.
Indeed it is. It was great to see you last night as well, both of you. Now,
yeah, you were making a lot of noise at the end there.
I know. I get a little carried away sometimes.
No,
I do.
Yeah.
Coach, let me start with you. You won that game last night by almost 50 points. When you're on the sidelines for a game like that, what's going through your head? Are you like, just don't get hurt, guys? Don't do something dumb? Like, what are you doing there on the sidelines when you're winning by so much?
So when it gets like that, for me, it's not really about the score. It was just about us still playing the right way, still having fun with the game, still having discipline, but also trying to use that game to get better on things that we need to get better at. So with that game, we kind of started off slow, not where we wanted to be. We was up 19 at half, then we gave the lead back. And then we just erupted in the fourth quarter. It was one of those games where I told them, like, we're going to break away with this in this game in the fourth quarter, so just stay with it. And we scored 57 points in the fourth, and that was it.
Couple of big wins this past week, Coach Cliff, over Sudbury, and now your Titans are in first place in the Basketball Super League. How important were those head-to-head matchups with Sudbury?
Very important. They were the number one team in the league almost for the whole year. They the defending champ. So anytime you're playing against good competition, you want to bring your A game, right? So we know whoever want to win the championship, you got to go through them because they're the champ. So 2 good games against those guys. One at home, protecting home court, and then went to their place and got a gutsy win on the road. So that's what it's all about. We trying to be the last team standing, and we trying to go into the playoffs for the number 1 seed.
David, tomorrow, the 28th, is the last regular season home game, taking on the Windsor Express. But more importantly is the theme for that last regular season home game. This is a pretty special day at the Odd for the Titans.
It is. It's very exciting. You had Phyllis Webstad on earlier this week, didn't you?
I did indeed. What a great lady to talk to.
Yes. So let's share with everybody who Phyllis is. She's the lady that inspired the Orange Shirt Day back so many years ago, and we were chosen and asked to be the first orange jersey game, professional orange jersey game in basketball. So we're very excited about that. So it's going to be a big day tomorrow.
And I know, David, the players have had a chance to meet with Phyllis, learn more about the origins of that orange shirt, Phyllis's time in residential schools, etc. A real opportunity for these players to learn about what that jersey's all about tomorrow.
Yeah, so you know what? Watch our social media feed. We did a photo shoot with Phyllis and the guys just a couple of days ago, and it's really quite inspiring. There's going to be a lot of participation from the Indigenous community tomorrow. The Every Child Matters Grand River Transit bus is going to be out tomorrow. Every Child Matters cruiser is going to be out tomorrow. So there's going to be a lot of really, really great things happening at the game.
Coach Cliff, how do you approach these last 2 games? You want to hang on to first place, obviously, but these are 2 tough teams to play, home to Windsor and then back on the road against those tough Sudbury 5. How do you approach this final weekend of the regular season?
Back to the drawing board, watch some film. All we can do is take it one game at a time. Right now, we got to focus on Windsor Express, who's a very dynamic offensive team. They lead the league in 3-point attempts and 3-pointers made. So we got to come in on our A game on the defensive side of the ball and try to protect home court.
Looking forward to the playoffs ahead and watching these Titans hang on to first place in the Basketball Super League. Coach Cliff, keep up the great work, and thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having us, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us, Mike, and we'll see you out soon for the Farwell for Hire game coming up soon.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you both for being here.
Take care, Mike.
Right,
thank you.
David Schooley, the co-owner of the KW Titans, and Cliff Clinkscales. Coach Cliff, the head coach of our first place KW Titans. They absolutely walloped the Kokomo Bobcats last night. Tomorrow at the Memorial Auditorium is the Orange Jersey game. The tip-off for that game versus the Windsor Express is 4 p.m. You can get tickets for the final regular season Titans home game at kwtitans.com, and then it's off to Sudbury. That's going to determine first place, I think, when the Titans go up to Sudbury to face the 5 on Sunday, and then the playoffs will open. And yes, 1 week this Saturday, we're going to have a Farwell for Hire game with the KW Titans at the Memorial Auditorium. We'll give you more details about that through the week ahead, but invite you to be a part of it because David and his wife Kate and the ownership group with Waterloo Region Sports and Entertainment want to make sure that the Titans are very connected to and invested in the community. So tomorrow versus Windsor closes out the regular season at home. Tickets at kwtitans.com. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. don't know, Preston Paul. Is this really a power ballad? I love me some AC/DC, but a ballad? Paul, what are you listening to there in Preston these days that makes you think this is a ballad? I'm going to go over to Preston Paul's place this weekend and introduce him to Spandau Ballet and other such things like that. It is time. It's an All Request Friday, by the way, Power Ballads edition, or apparently the Whatever the Hell You Want edition. And Preston Paul wanted to hear some Thunderstruck because in his ears, that is a ballad. Fridays also mean our Friday for Roundtable, a discussion of the week's big stories. David Drew is here, the owner of Negotiating Change. Good morning, David.
Good morning, sir.
Yvonne Fernandez with us as well, the president of the Dune Pioneer Park Community Association. Ms. Fernandez, good morning to you.
Oh, that sounds formal. Good morning, Mike.
And another David Marskell is here also, CEO at the museum in downtown Kitchener. Hello, David.
Hello. I didn't think I was allowed to be on with the other David after the incident.
We have all gotten over the incident and allowed the Davids back on together. Perfect. I
now
love
you've
it.
got my interest. Now you've got my interest.
Well, you know, Yvonne, you get too many Davids onto one call and look out. You just don't know what's going to happen. So brace yourself today. All right. I'll start with David Drew. First topic to discuss is the elimination of the HST on new homes in Ontario for the next year anyway. And maybe this ties into yesterday's budget. I'm not sure. But David Drew, is this the affordability measure that we've been waiting for, the removal of the HST on new homes in Ontario?
No.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, first of all, it's a one-year time-limited thing, which encourages everybody to buy within the next year. So there's going to be an inflationary effect there as people rush to get in ahead of the deadline. But second of all, when you give everybody a little bit more money to spend, that does not lower the cost of anything. That increases the cost of it. So, you know, it's a little bit out of the one pocket going into the other pocket. It's not really going to make much of a difference, except our government will be a bit poorer.
Because they're not collecting that HST revenue, obviously.
Right.
Bingo.
Yeah. Yvonne, your thoughts on the removal of HST?
I mean, it sounds like a nice carrot, and I agree with David. I don't think it's going to necessarily make the difference that they're expecting to. My other thought is, how does that change the eligibility for mortgages if your income hasn't changed, but you might get some money back from the HST? Will the banks take that into consideration when they're factoring all of the ability for you to pay your mortgage every month? Because once that year is up, you're definitely going to have to make sure that you put that money towards the reduction in price of the house. But how does that go into your eligibility for a mortgage? Because I know there's a lot of factors that they take into consideration. And I had something else written down, but I think David's right. It might increase the demand, which will increase the cost. And will people be able to get in that time frame? Because there's more than just starting the building. I mean, there's building permits, there's the water issue, there's a lot of moving parts, and I think it sounds really good. I just don't know. Maybe it won't be so good for the Waterloo region, but it might be good for other areas in Ontario, the areas that are a little bit smaller maybe and would like to grow a bit more.
I had a friend in Waterloo who's well established in his home and lovely neighborhood, and he says this is just going to help wealthy people like him. He can sell his existing home for more money than he could buy a smaller home and take advantage. If it's buying a new home, he's going to save the HST on this new home buy. So as somebody that's already in the market and wealthy enough, he says it's only helping him as another wealthy person in Ontario. David Marskell, what do you make of the HST break?
But your friend's going to help the building sector because they're building new houses. I mean, I think it's a good policy. I think it's a better policy. Let me say it that way. And here I am defending the provincial government, the better policy than what they had before this. And I'm glad that Carney's on board and there was like a lot of money across the provinces for this. But the original Ontario policy was first-time buyers only. And that group was pretty finite. They probably didn't have a lot of down payment money saved. So while it may have helped a few, it didn't help possibly the whole building sector, the reason why they created the policy. I think the updated policy should make a much bigger impact. And yes, it's a finite number in terms of 1 year, but they need to do something for the home building sector. And it will save the government in other ways, like unemployment payments and so on, if the sector's not working. I do think the municipalities need to step up. There's some across the province already taking off all of their fees and so on. Some are dropping them by half and so on and so forth. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, we need the home building sector to thrive. We need those jobs and all the things that come from that.
David Drew, one of the things... Oh, go ahead, Yvonne. Sorry.
Well, I was just, David Marscal, if they drop some of those fees, you understand that some of those fees are what gives us the parks and the community centers and the libraries. And Dave, I'm going to shut up for a second. David's excited. All right.
We may agree, Dave. Mr. Drew.
Yeah, development fees are nothing but usurious taxes on new members of the community that most of the time should be going through the property tax base, in my opinion. You look at that super soccer field in South Kitchener, the Schlegel Dome, out of development charges. That should have come out of property taxes. That was not an issue of growth needing sewers, et cetera, et cetera. So what we've done is set up a system where we are penalizing people who want to get into the market to provide services to people who've been here forever. So I will say this for the provincial government, at least they're taking the money out of their own pocket rather than trying to limit development charges, which would put municipalities in a horrible place. As much as I think they're doing everything wrong, I think it takes time to fix the error, and to come in and just cut development charges from up top would horribly be bad for municipalities. But
if I can add to that, I mean, the other thing, Yvonne, is yes, it takes money out of the municipalities in the short term, but in a longer term, you have a larger tax base because in the case of condo building, they've just built so many condos and that many more people are downtown paying taxes. And so it's actually a positive in terms of revenue over a period of years.
The problem is that's the long, you know what I mean? We have upfront expenses and long-term paybacks, and municipalities aren't in that position to be floating over the long term. They're in a horrible position, but meh. Hey, let's talk about housing.
David Drew, Yvonne Fernandez, and David Marscal are with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, 59, count them, 59 municipal politicians. Can I get an amen on amalgamation? Amen.
Amen.
Oh, we're starting early. The Friday 4 Roundtable continues on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio. A little bit of Into the Night and Benny Mardones on this All Request Friday, Power Ballads edition. Gary wanted to hear that one, and so he gets to hear some of it on the show today. An All Request Friday, for Power Ballads. Our Friday 4 roundtable has assembled. Yvonne Fernandez, David Marskell, David Drew with us. I got an amen already before the commercial break, so I think I know where this is going, but let's find out why it's going this way. We do have, as has been stated before, 59 municipal politicians here in this region. They are paid collectively more than $3 million in municipal politician salaries, but I am interested in a conversation about amalgamation. Yvonne, you gave me an amen. Why?
59 politicians. It's too much. There's too many layers. There's an awful lot of overlap. You're saying it's $3 million, but I saw a number for the region alone that it was $3 million for councillors there. And the city of Waterloo and the city of Cambridge have already passed, I believe, a motion to increase their salaries after the 26th election, the October 26th election. I would rather see full-time counselors covering a wider area. The challenge with being a part-time counselor, and especially if you're the breadwinner, let's say, old-fashioned word, you're not making enough. And also you're not drawing in people with the kind of expertise. So the counselors who are working part-time are juggling their mostly full-time job, their families, and their council responsibility. And a lot of it falls by the wayside, unfortunately. A lot of lack of attendance at these advisory committees that they sit on. And yeah, I could say so much more, but I want to let the other two Davids have a chance to talk.
All right. I don't mind the idea of full-time either and a smaller overall one local government council. But David Marskell, your thoughts?
Well, I definitely have always believed that it would be a good thing. Toronto has 26 councillors and there's 59 for our area. Again, the full-time, having full-time councils and paying them properly, which probably would mean an increase, would attract the best of the best. And I think that would be very, very important. And it isn't all about saving money. There's efficiency in here, and there's less red tape and a common vision. We need vision, and that's not necessarily from part-time. I mean, the arts sector, we have to navigate several different strategies from the 7 different councils and so on. And often they don't align with each other. I mean, you've got 2 different councils involved with the bus terminal. And if we had a single vision for an urban park where the bus terminal is and a beautiful arts creation, huge something on the park at Gaukel, and let's get rid of the Manulife Center and put the arena in a conference center. That's the vision we need. We need to be excited and looking forward to something. Like we were excited and looking forward to the Ion, and that spurred growth and all sorts of other things. So it's a conundrum to me that the province hasn't moved in our area, where they've done this in so many other areas and continue to do so. And I know the Elizabeth Whitmer story from way back, but I just don't understand why it hasn't happened.
Yeah, that Elizabeth Whitmer story from way back, the former MPP for Waterloo and a health minister, essentially had enough of the ear of Premier Harris at the time to say, you go ahead and amalgamate other places like Sudbury, David Drew's home community, but you keep your hands off Waterloo Region. And I think it's interesting, David, that you bring up the former Charles Street bus terminal in downtown Kitchener, because you want to talk about inefficiency and getting caught up in the bureaucracy of 2 tiers of local government. You watch what happens there when you've got a parcel of land in downtown Kitchener, but it's regionally owned. And what kind of regional vision can we get for something that would be situated in the heart of one city in our community of 3 cities and 4 townships? You wait for that mess that's coming our way.
Hey, Mike, that parcel of property is 85% owned by the region and 15% the building itself by the city of Kitchener.
Also true.
And P.S., why don't they tear it down and make it a parking lot while we're waiting?
No more parking lots. No more parking lots.
Just while we're waiting. Okay, for David Drew, let's get you in on the amalgamation question.
I agree with everything that's been said, so I'm just going to throw a contrary point in for the sake of the listeners. I'm looking at our current water situation, and I'm not sure that having one tier of government would have done anything to fix that, because the current regional government apparently went against policy to be extracting water from Wilmot. And in theory, having the mayor of Wilmot on as a standalone councillor should be providing some accountability in that area and transparency and making it a one-tier system. I'm not sure that addresses what we need. Will we have a more streamlined bureaucracy from one government like we hope? Or will it just be one bigger bloat in one place as opposed to two separate bloats? I agree with everything that's been said, but as we talk about amalgamation, we have to look very carefully about how we do it to make sure that we do achieve these goals and we're still able to maintain local representation, because we're not Toronto. And there is a huge difference between Wellesley and downtown Kitchener.
So absolutely there is. But I think that if we pull representation from each of those townships and they're full-time councillors and they can have a chance to really dig into the stuff that's important in their area and bring it to...
But if we have a full-time councillor from the township of Wellesley, to make it democratic, how many full-time councillors will the city of Kitchener need?
Good point. Yeah.
Okay, well, I've thought of 5 for Kitchener, 5 for Cambridge, 3 for Waterloo, and 2 from each of the townships. That brings you to 21. At a regional chair, you've got 22, or whatever, a chair, a mayor, 22 council members across the region. 2 from each township. There's 8, 3 from Waterloo, and 5 from each of Cambridge and Kitchener. Full time. There you go.
Why only 4? Why only 3 for Waterloo?
It's a small city.
I do want to point out that Mike Harris's plan included Guelph.
Bring it on.
I mean, the Niagara region, it goes from Fort Erie to St. Catharines to Niagara Falls. Harris did include Guelph.
If only we had a Mike Harris with the courage to pass a Fewer Politicians Act. If only there was someone with Mike Harris blood in office. If there was only someone locally who was raised by Iron Mike Harris who could put this forward on our behalf.
Yeah, I don't think we have that. Nobody wants to lose their job. Nobody wants to lose their job, even if it's part-time.
Yes, I feel that from the municipal councillors, but I can't help but wonder, David, and I thought for a moment there you were even talking about Premier Ford. David Drew, sorry. When you said if we didn't have, because I thought Premier Ford is kind of an apostle of Mike Harris, isn't he, senior?
I was thinking Mike Harris Jr.
Well, I know you were, but initially I thought Premier Ford should have the wherewithal to be trying this too.
Oh, yeah. But you'd think our local scion would be saying, look, it paid off for my dad. It's going to pay off for you. It will make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to somebody having the courage to have the conversation beyond just a roundtable like this, because there has been a lot of protectionism. Yeah, political protectionism here. And we'll see. We've got a municipal election coming up. There are some hints and signals that maybe something's happening with school board trustees, with regional governments across Ontario. We shall see. Yvonne Fernandez, David Marskell, and David Drew are with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. We're going to get you an update from the 570 News Centre. Still to come, we're going to kick around Bill C9, Combating Hate in Canada, the federal bill that is now off to the upper chamber. And Air Canada's CEO does not express his condolences for 2 lost pilots en français. Oh, such a faux pas. We'll talk about that coming up with our Friday 4 Roundtable on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. and Waiting for a Girl Like You on this All Request Friday, Power Ballads edition. Fridays also mean our Friday 4 Roundtable. With us today, David Marskell, who's the CEO of The Museum in downtown Kitchener. David Drew, the owner, negotiating change, government relations, stakeholder engagement strategies, and Yvonne Fernandez is here as well, the president of the Dune Pioneer Park Community Association. David Marskell, I'll start with you on this one. What a week it's been as we learn more about that awful plane crash at LaGuardia Airport in New York, featuring an Air Canada jet. 2 Air Canada pilots killed in that collision with a fire truck on the runway. Aside from everything we've learned about it, something else we learned, I guess, is that the CEO of Air Canada is not very strong when it comes to Canada's other official language, that being French. Is it right for all of the ire to be directed at the Air Canada CEO for his inability to express condolences in French?
Well, first and foremost, it was truly tragic, and I just feel so badly for all involved, the people that lost people and their families, and people who were injured and so on. It was just a terrible, terrible accident, and it was a huge mistake on his part that he couldn't or wouldn't speak in both languages. I mean, even his staff or somebody suggesting, let's get you in front of a camera and we'll video something and we'll keep going until you get the French proper, no matter how short it is. And I feel it wasn't politically motivated to begin with. I don't think people were laying in wait. I think it really truly hurt and offended people, and I think that's what makes this most offensive. It's a slap in the face to the pilots' families, to Quebec, and on and on. And if it was an isolated incident, that would be one thing. But his history is, he said he was going to take lessons, and he's just continues not to do that. And I think that's the biggest reason why the heat should stay on him to step down.
Yeah, I think that your point about, putting him on camera and with the staff, as many takes as are required to get the proper French to come out, however broken it may be. It's not the Air Canada CEO himself that is responsible here. There's an entire team, but gosh, you wish somebody would have stepped up with that. And maybe David Drew, as a communications expert yourself, you might have been able to step in and save the man from himself.
Well, I guess my question is, why did he feel the need to do a video message? He could have issued a statement that just said whatever in both official languages, the exact same words. There was no need for him to use video. So why put himself in that position? If I was staffing him, as soon as it became apparent that he was going to be so bad in French that he really shouldn't be speaking it, I'd pull the video and just go with straight text. There was, and by the fact that he did not do that, I think that's half of it. It's not that he's unable to, it's that he was unable to and he did it anyway. But he did it wrong rather than doing it officially. Like, that is the flag in the face. And there's a lot of stuff about bilingualism that people get upset about that I just lift my nose at, but this is not one of those things. There's reason to be angry here. I
wonder if putting him on camera is in any way connected to the recent fast food CEO video craze, if you will, where one CEO was mocked and others jumped on board. And maybe putting the CEO and putting that human face and doing it video-wise as opposed to statement-wise is the new trend. I don't know. I think David Drew has lost audio. Yvonne, I'll swing it over to you.
Yeah, no, I think it was an emotional response to a very tragic situation. And his staff should have been the ones who directed him in how to do this. Maybe he overrode them and said, no, I want to put like a human face behind this tragedy. I want to make sure that people see how emotionally distraught I am. But why not have had a translator standing behind him, beside him, like we've seen in so many other videos?
That would have been just as bad.
Would it?
That would have been just as that would have exposed exactly what David Marskell was talking about. He committed to learning.
Yes,
and
he did.
If he'd have had a translator there, it would have been just as much an exposure of the fact that that promise meant nothing.
But
and it was a controversial thing back then.
But wouldn't it have at least looked like he made an effort, like at least that he wanted the message to be very clear to the people who had lost family members and the injured people that, I apologize, my French is not the way I want it to be. Therefore, I have so-and-so standing here who's going to translate every word I say.
My French is not what it's legally required to be. It's a crown corporation. He's supposed to be able to function with all his staff in both official languages, and he just exposed that he cannot speak French with any of his staff or stakeholders.
Okay, true enough. I just don't think I don't think it's worth firing somebody at that level. The cost would be horrendous. And I stand corrected if I'm saying that the government subsidizes Air Canada in any way at all. That's taxpayer dollars going out the door. Anyways, that's my thoughts. I just think that he reacted and overrode maybe some wisdom from his staff.
There's no question that what we're dealing with here is one small part of what was just an incredible situation. Go ahead, David Drew.
To make an analogy, that plane crash was not an event. It was the ending of several different series of events that culminated in the crash and the accident. Same with this guy's statement. It's not the statement that's the issue. It's all the series of events that led up to him standing up there saying merci, bonjour, and that's all the French he could muster for a tragedy. It's all of the things behind it that went on. If this is the judgment that is being exhibited, where else is that judgment being exhibited?
Within Air Canada. And of course, that brings us to the ultimate tragedy that's involved in all of this and the human error that existed on the part of that air traffic controller. I can't imagine what that person is living with now for the rest of their days.
Do we know it was human error?
Well, it's telling
the recording says I messed up, right? The recording says I messed up. Was there I want to know where the fire truck driver was in, like, what was he not hearing? Stop. I think
was he on the same radio frequency? I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's that remains to be seen.
Yeah,
that remains.
And I suppose that will all come out in the investigation that is underway, and we know that even the legal community has weighed in on this as to what might be coming by way of legal action following just an incredible tragedy, and the fact that this air traffic controller had to stay on shift because there was nobody there to take his place. He's still directing air traffic on tarmacs, getting planes to gates, etc., even in the aftermath of this crash, because there's nobody else there.
And as a guy who worked in the newsroom, Mike, you know that when one mistake happens and you're live, they tend to snowball and they tend to get worse. The fact that this guy finished his shift without further incident is testament to him.
I would agree with that completely. It's not an easy thing to overcome, for sure. David Drew, Yvonne Fernandez, and David Marskell with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. We'll take a break. When we come back, Bill C-9, Combating Hate in Canada, has passed in Parliament, now off to the Senate. Would you have voted for it? We'll talk about it with our Friday 4 Roundtable guests as we continue the Mike Farwell Show this morning. This is 570 News Radio.
I
is Scorpion and Still Loving You by request from Kyle on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition. Our Friday 4 roundtable with us today, David Drew, Yvonne Fernandez, and David Marskell. One more topic for us to tackle, and it's been a contentious one. It's been a difficult one for MPs. There's been a lot of conversation about this. Opposition parties not supportive of the Liberal government's Combating Hate Act, Bill C-9. But the Liberals, with the support of the Bloc, got it through Parliament, and now off it goes to the Senate. David Drew, I'll start with you on this one. The Combating Hate Act, as it stood when it was passed, is it something that you could have voted for?
I'm not quite sure. I like this one really does tear me up a little bit because I agree with the principles of it, but some of the criticism, particularly from the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, about it silencing protests, I would really want to be taking a finer look at it than I've been able to from just media coverage. I would really want to be sitting down at the committee and listening to what the witnesses had to say about it, because this is a fine line. I disagree with the conservative hyperbole about how quickly and bad it's going to get. But generally, politics is all about hyperbole. And if something's bad, it's never kind of bad. It's always the worst in the world. So I do have concerns about it. If I was there and I had to vote for it, I would be better informed than I am right now, let's say.
Okay, what parts of it that you have heard about give you pause?
I am not exactly sure how it would potentially silence protest. And that's just it. I need to have better real life examples of where citing the Old Testament would or would not get me into trouble. I want to know where in public I would not be able to read the Quran. I would want to know what the real world implications of this are and how it will be executed before the words on paper in principle. Like, that's what I'm struggling with is, so where is the line with this new law? It used to be there was an exemption if in good faith you were quoting religious text. So now, if you were quoting in bad faith before, you were still in trouble. So good faith religious quoting is now potentially a felony?
Well,
I need to know more about where the lines are.
And who determines whether it's in good faith or bad faith? That's where we really get stuck.
20 years from now, what will the Supreme Court be saying about it? The people who say that we have a charter right to bike lanes, what are they going to be saying about good faith and bad faith in this case?
Yvonne, as David said, it's something that by its name, the Combating Hate Bill, is something I think we can all easily get behind. As usual, as they say, the devil is in the details here.
I agree with David Drew. I kept looking and trying to see if I could find more details that would help me understand, because anything can be subjective. So if I'm standing protesting, as I will be on Sunday, about a particular issue, can that be misconstrued about as a hate crime to particular people who have made a decision? Or if I completely vehemently disagree with a member of Parliament and I'm standing outside of their office and I'm spewing whatever, is that considered hate? So I think it's a really fine line between freedom of expression and freedom of speech and hate. And when we get emotional, we do say things that, especially if we're passionate about something, I think sometimes we don't govern ourselves as well as we should. But on the other side, should we not be able to say publicly that we disagree vehemently with something? I'm feeling a little unsure about where I would have put my vote on this. Very similar to what David Drew was saying. I would really want some real life examples of where this has played out and how we should be dealing with it. Absolutely don't want to see people thinking they can spray a synagogue or, pull off somebody's hijab in public. Those are really horrible, horrible situations.
That are already illegal.
Sorry?
That are already illegal.
Illegal, exactly.
So you know what I mean? Like all of that stuff was already covered. So what's the new ground?
Yeah. Good. That's a good point.
David Marskell, your thoughts?
I mean, where I do agree with everybody is it would have been a very tough vote to hold your nose and vote upon it. I mean, where I went with this is that I don't think Carney would have done this in terms of the Quebec exemption had he had a majority government. He wouldn't have done that. He would have just gone forward with the bill that he thought was best. I mean, the Conservatives and the NDP, if they agreed with the anti-hate bill, they could have offered their own trade-offs, and maybe they suggested that for support. But we won't know that. But while I like minority governments, I think this is an example of why majority governments are better. I mean, I think the two things would have been separated had it been a majority government without the Quebec exemption.
I find that interesting. It's like you read my mind, David Marskell. David Drew, these are the mechanics of a minority parliament right now, right? So the Liberals court enough favor with the Bloc to get some legislation passed.
And I am not saying that this is it, but there have been cases where governments in the past have included language on bills as a sop to the opposition that were quite incendiary to the public and in the end meant nothing at all. I have no idea. I thought Dave Marskell's thought there was really interesting too. Would this have happened with a majority government? The other question is, how else would the bill have been different if they didn't feel the need to have to negotiate with anybody else?
Right.
And I love how you said you love minority parliaments, but this is a case where, and I've just been sitting there for the past year going, how can we keep the transparency of the minority government, but get the speed of the majority government? That's what I've been trying to figure out for the past year, and I don't know how.
How long did Bill Davis do it? 43 years or something? Didn't he have an incredible length of time as a minority government?
He had majorities and minorities.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
So my question, and pardon my ignorance, gentlemen, is this the reason they courted the Quebecois, the Bloc Quebec, because the Quebec is talking about not allowing religious symbols? Is that how this fits together?
Is that why they couldn't have passed the bill without somebody supporting them, another party's supporting them?
Okay.
We also should remember, though, that this agreement was hatched a couple months ago when the Conservatives still looked at the idea of cooperating the Liberals as toxic, whereas now it might have been a different result just because they're just trying to avoid an election.
And people say politics is boring. This is why minority parliaments are so much fun. David Marskell, quickly, thoughts on the Blue Jays season starting tonight? I'm sure you're invested.
You know, what I learned last year is very quickly is that we have to win the series. We have to win the series against the Yankees, Boston, Seattle, so that when we get to the playoffs, we have home field advantage and the crowd, the wonderful crowd.
I love it. Big night for the Blue Jays. Their 50th season kicks off. My thanks to David Marskell, CEO of the Museum in downtown Kitchener, David Drew, owner Negotiating Change, and Yvonne Fernandez, president of the Dune Pioneer Park Community Association. Thank you for your time and thoughts on the show today. Really do appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Go Rangers, go Blue Jays. An update from the 570 News Center is on the way. And then open phone lines. We close the show every week the same way with open phone lines for Free Phones Friday. Plus, at 12:30, we're giving away 2 pair of Kitchener Rangers tickets. You'll have to answer some Rangers trivia questions. They won't be the easiest questions, but they won't be the hardest either. And we'll send you to the game tonight as well. It's all coming up on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio.
Forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I could taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your light.
The Goo Goo Dolls and Iris by request from Clinton on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition as we cleanse our palates from last week's disco theme and play some power ballads on the show today. Thanks again to Heather for the suggestion that we try power ballads following our disco theme last week. We are into our final hour together of the day of the week. This is Free Phones Friday. The next, 54 minutes are all for you with open phone lines. Couple of things by way of housekeeping. One of those things is that we will interrupt, however temporarily, this week's edition of Free Phones Friday in an attempt to send you to the Kitchener Rangers game tonight. They open the playoffs. They're taking on the Saginaw Spirit, and we want to put your bum in a seat. So we have 2 pairs of tickets to give away, and we're going to do that at 12:30. Now, Frank sent me an email to Mike at 570news.com and says, "This is unfair, Mike. You indicated the questions regarding the free tickets for tonight's game will require significant knowledge about the team." No, I didn't, Frank. I just said, in the past, we have done really easy Ranger trivia. Like I would ask questions like, in what arena do the Rangers play? What color are the Rangers jerseys, etc. It's not going to be that easy. I'm not going to ask you who had the most assists for the Kitchener Rangers in 1984. I promise. It's not going to be that bad. But I would like to award the tickets to some fans who have a passing knowledge of the league, of the team, and are going to be there in full throat to cheer on the Kitchener Rangers tonight. So that's housekeeping point number 1. Housekeeping point number 2, as we get into Free Phones Friday, I'm afraid that, much like yesterday, only some of our phone lines are free. It's not that you have to pay, but if you've been trying to dial star 570 and you can't get through and you're wondering, what the heck, is Farwell that popular? Absolutely not. Never have been, never will be. Wouldn't mind being, but am not. Star 570 is not working. There are people that are far smarter than I am trying to get it sorted out, but we're not going to have it sorted out before the end of the hour. So the numbers to use for Free Phones Friday and when we play Rangers Trivia at 12:30 for a chance to win tickets, 519-570-2545 or 1-800-570-5715. 3 lines in total available, 519-570-2545 or 1-800-570-5715. Let's get down to business. Heather starts off Free Phones Friday. Hello, Heather.
Hello, Mike. How you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm number 25, and I'm the person that sent in the request for the power ballad.
Good job by you.
I just want to thank you so much. I've never heard my name mentioned so many times on the radio. And I do think that some of the requests that you got were a little bit questionable as to being a power ballad.
I would agree.
We didn't get any Aerosmith or Guns N' Roses, so I don't think we did anyway. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you so much, and I'll keep sending in my suggestions.
Please do. I love getting them.
Okay, and go Rangers, go Jays.
All right, Heather. Love to hear it. Go Rangers starting the playoffs tonight. Go Jays opening their 50th season in Major League Baseball tonight. And I would not disagree, Heather, that we have played fast and loose with the rules of power ballads today. In fact, I'm going to call you out again, Preston Paul. AC/DC Thunderstruck. How is that a ballad by any stretch of the imagination? Anyway, your request is our command, and sometimes in the telephone game that happens here, from the time you call in a request until the time it ends up on the air, there may be a misunderstanding also of what makes a power ballad a power ballad. But hey, we're having fun. And to Heather's point, she hasn't heard any Aerosmith or Guns N' Roses yet, Heather, yet. There is still time in this hour to play more power ballads by request on this All Request Friday. Grant is with us on Free Phones Friday. Hello, Grant.
Good day, Mr. Mike.
Good day, Mr. Grant.
I'm going to touch on three things.
All right.
How's your wife doing? Because
she's the best wife in the world.
I know she was going through some difficulty there a couple of years ago with her health. And
oh, my goodness. You're just all about the health of the Farwell family this week, aren't you?
Well, I like to make sure that she's doing a lot better.
She's doing a lot better. Thank you for asking.
Well, that's good. And that Liam Greentree fourth goal, wow, that was a pretty goal. And then Tim Cunningham has, let me think. Oh, yeah, you mentioned that the Kingston game, that will be an upset. Kingston
taking on Ottawa? He thinks Kingston's going to win?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, Grant, I missed all of the OHL action last night because I was at the KW Titans game. However, thank you for the update on how good Liam Greentree's goal was. The Windsor Spitfires shut out the Guelph Storm 4-0 last night. The North Bay Battalion shut out the Peterborough Petes last night 1-0. Flint beat up on the Owen Sound Attack 8-1. And Barrie beat Niagara 4-1 last night. Those were the 4 games that opened the OHL playoffs. Tonight, along with our Rangers on the ice against Saginaw, the Kingston Frontenacs will play the Ottawa 67s. And according to Grant, a commentator that he heard last night talking during the intermission of that Guelph Storm game suggests that the Frontenacs are going to upset the Ottawa 67s. That would be a big upset. I can see it trying to build the case for it, but that would be a massive upset. We'll see. Playoffs are fun. Playoffs will open for the Kitchener Rangers tonight, and you're going to get a chance to win tickets in about 20 minutes. Kyle is with us on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon, Kyle.
Mike, it's sunny out. The birds are chirping. The weather's beautiful. And you know what? It's Jay's opening day today, baby. The Rangers are going into the second round. And I'm excited.
No,
I cannot believe.
Kyle,
yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt because you're like all fired up. I love it. How can the Rangers be going into the second round when they haven't even started the first round?
Did I say the second round?
You did?
Well, I'm ahead of myself, my friend.
Okay.
They're going into the first round, and Jay's is opening day today. I'm excited. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny. It's not raining. This is springtime. This is the best time of the year for me, man. Look, there's no mud on the streets. There's no fluff. There's no snow coming down. I'm excited, and I'm excited because it's a Rangers weekend for me. I get to see tonight. I get to see on Sunday. I'm going to the rink twice. The Jays are playing tonight. I'll be watching that on my feed on Twitter. I'm excited, man. I am pumped. Like this is like a holiday to me. Like I don't need to go travel 7,000 kilometers away on the other side of the ocean to have fun. All I have to do is just drive 45 minutes down on Highway 86, get to the Rangers building, and I get to see all of you guys and hear you in the broadcast booth. Mike, I'm excited, buddy. I cannot wait. And you know what? Let's go Rangers! Let's go Jays! Come on! Woo! Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Kyle. I don't know if he's going to have a voice left by the time he gets to the Rangers game tonight. Kyle's already got his tickets. Your chance to win tickets is coming up just after 12:30. Remember, 2 of our phone lines are down. Do not try calling. Well, you can try, but you're not going to get through at star 570. So please remember to reach us on Free Phones Friday and to reach us for your chance to win those Rangers tickets. 519-570-2545 or 1-800-570-5715. It's an all-request Friday. Tickets just after 12:30. Free Phones Friday continues. We keep taking calls. And it's an all-request Friday on the show. We're doing power ballads today. And Donna, I'm glad we can play this request for Donna today because Donna is not only Farwell's Force member number 2, one of the early entries on our list of Farwell's Force members, but it just so happens that Donna is celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday to you, Donna. And thank you for the power ballad request from what? Who? The Carpenters? That's right. The Carpenters' song from 1972, Goodbye to Love, essentially helped to define the power ballad genre. Tony Peluso, you will hear in this bit of Goodbye to Love, plays the guitar solo that introduced us to power ballads by request from Donna on this All Request Friday. The Carpenters and Goodbye to Love.
I'll go on as best I can.
A little bit of Heart and Alone on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition. Bob wanted to hear that one, and an excellent choice, my friend. An excellent choice. Yesterday, we started the show with a Hall & Oates song, the third best-selling music duo in history. And when I saw that little blurb that they were the third best, I thought, I wonder who the best are. And I had lots of questions about it through the day yesterday. Some of you didn't get to hear the answer. Simon and Garfunkel sold the most records as a duo, followed by the Carpenters. Yes, the Carpenters, then Hall & Oates. And one of my coworkers, who also missed the answer yesterday, was talking to me earlier today. He said, I would have added Heart, but they're not technically a duo. No, they're not. But they do a great job with that power ballad, Alone. And we play it for you on your All Request Friday. Let's get back to the phones here. Free Phones Friday. Terry is with us. Good afternoon, Terry.
Hey, good afternoon, Mike. So Grant listens to a religious show instead of your show at parts of the day?
Well, even better. He listens to a religious show, and then he listens to this show. I think you should go the other way around, pal. Like, you should seek salvation after listening to this show.
That means you're number 2 behind Jesus. So,
you know what? I'll take it. Hey, wait, the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, right?
Well, it's so John Lennon said.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Well, you were just talking about being popular. I guess being number 2 to Jesus is pretty high up there.
It's not bad. Hey. Terry, I like how you think, man.
Hey, Mike, did you also say yesterday that Mike McKenzie should go to the Leafs?
Yes.
Grant had him fired 10 times this season.
Well, Grant comes from you think I'm angry. Grant, he gets fired up about his Kitchener Rangers, doesn't he?
Well, it's funny. Well, it's fun when they lose because when the game ends, when you have the call-in show, when they lose, Grant wants everybody fired. I think he had the UC Hocus fired once too. And then you hung up on him and said, well, he's the reigning coach of the year. How can you fire him? But anyway, it's funny because Robbie English, when they lose, he blames the referees. Grant wants everybody fired. I'm glad you have Eddie on there because he's like the calming voice. He's like the voice of reason.
Terry, it's like you've never listened to another sports call-in show before. It's like that everywhere. You know this.
But it's so predictable. Every time they lose, that's what you get. Robbie English, always the referee's fault. Well, no, the other team just played better that night. That's all. That's so funny. I love that call-in show, Mike. It's actually better than the game at times. So I'll have to listen tonight to see what happens. But I think the Rangers are going to win, so I don't think there's going to be too much belly aching. But we'll see. Anyway, I hope they do well tonight. It'll be a good game. So anyway, Mike, have yourself a good weekend.
Thanks, Terry. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the support for our Rangers Talk post-game show. Terry is all excited to tune in tonight. Maybe Terry will even call the post-game show tonight. We're always looking for new voices who might not want to blame the referees, the coach, or the general manager for the loss. But I can tell you this. First of all, as I just mentioned to Terry, it's like any other sports call-in show that you hear anywhere, Rangers Talk. I've been to other cities listening to their post-game shows as I leave the sporting event I was just at, and it's the same cast of characters, just different names in different cities cheering for different teams. And they'll complain about the coach, or they'll complain about the general manager, or they'll complain about the officials in the game. And that tends to just be the way that sports call-in shows go. So I have a running joke because I've been doing this post-game show now since 2008, if you can believe it. We started it during the 2008 Memorial Cup, and we have not stopped since. So for these past 18 seasons, I've been there taking calls after Rangers games, and I have long joked that everybody loves a loser. When the team is playing as well as the Rangers are playing this season, the post-game show sometimes gets a little lonely. Like, it's a good thing Josh Piercy is there to keep me company, because when the team wins, everybody's just so excited. They go home all happy, and they don't call my post-game show to complain about anything. So when they lose, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a good night on the phones. People are going to be fired up. Problem for us is the Rangers didn't lose a whole lot. 6 games on home ice in regulation this year, I think, was the final number the Rangers finished at. Anyway, after every home game, Josh and I stay late to take your calls, win or lose, and we host Rangers Talk until the late hours of every evening following a Rangers home game. It's a home game tonight for the Kitchener Rangers, which means we will be here for Rangers Talk after the game, and Josh and I will be on the air with your Harris Law pregame show at 6:30 before puck drops versus the Saginaw Spirit. Game 1 of the playoffs is coming tonight. If you would like to be there, I would like to award you tickets. I have 2 pairs to give away. In order to win the tickets, you must answer 2 Rangers-related trivia questions. They're not the easiest questions, but they're also not the hardest. So if you're enough of a Rangers fan to think you can answer the questions, why don't you give me a call, and we'll start lining people up. You must have an email address. That's the only qualifier here, plus answering the questions, okay? If you have an email address and you'd like to go to the game tonight, give us a call right now, 519-570-2545 or 1-800-570-5715. I'll ask you questions. You need to answer 2. 1 question right for each ticket won, okay? And you get 2 tickets to go see the game tonight. You got an email address. You're going to answer some Rangers trivia questions. We'll send you to the game versus the Saginaw Spirit. 2 tickets to tonight's game. 519-570-2545. 1-800-570-5715. Let's put your Rangers trivia to the test and award you tickets to tonight's game coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. This is Free Phones Friday on a playoff game day, baby. 570 News Radio. That's as long as I can let it go, but you know already. A little bit of Guns N' Roses and November Rain on this All Request Friday Power Ballads edition. That one by request from Rory on the show today. And Heather called earlier. She said, I'm surprised I haven't heard Aerosmith or Guns N' Roses yet. I said, yet. We're into our final hour. We've got a couple more songs to play. Maybe some bonus songs that I have tucked away because we got more requests than we had space for, but I thought I'm going to break some rules this week and throw in some extras if I can. If I get in trouble later, I'll deal with it later. For now, we're playing your requests on this All Request Friday. It also happens to be game day, baby. Playoff game day. And I just so happen, thanks to our good friend Gord Harris, the sponsor of our Harris Law pregame show, I have some tickets to give away to tonight's game. 2 pairs of tickets. So I will award them in those pairs. You and a friend, you and a loved one can go to the game if you can answer one Rangers trivia question per seat. So you need to answer 2. They're not the easiest questions. They're also not the most difficult questions. And you must have an email address so we can transfer you those tickets, okay? The only requirements: have an email address and answer 2 Rangers trivia questions. George is on the line first. Good afternoon, George.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mike. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes, I'm just not in a very good area, but I hear you well.
Good. Okay. You have an email address, right, George?
Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect. Are you ready? I need 2 questions answered correctly. Are you ready?
Okay, don't make it too hard. Go ahead.
All right, George. Question number 1. Who is the captain of the Kitchener Rangers?
Cameron Reeves.
You are correct. One more, and you've got 2 tickets. Ready?
Yes.
The Kitchener Rangers won their division title this season for the first time since 2018. In what division do the Rangers play?
The Western Division.
George, I'm sorry, that's not the answer.
Oh.
You were close, buddy. I appreciate you trying. You got 1, but you didn't get them both. If you want a chance to go to the game tonight, 519-570-2545 or 1-800-570-5715. Doug is with us. Hey, Doug, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike.
You want to go to that game tonight?
I do, but based on those first 2 questions, at my age, memory is not good.
Doug, do you know which division the Kitchener Rangers play in?
Is it the Eastern?
It is not the Eastern, Doug. I'm sorry. Well, we're narrowing it down, aren't we? It's not the West Division. It's not the East Division. Let's go next to Nathan. Nathan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike.
You have an email address, don't you, Nathan?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right. You sound like you're already forlorn, Nathan. Do you know? Are we going to stump people on which division the Rangers play in?
I think it's the Midwest.
Attaboy, Nathan. Okay. There you go. So that's 1. Now, are you ready for question 2?
Let's do it.
All right. The Kitchener Rangers are one of 5 teams in that Midwest division. Name one of the other 4.
Guelph.
Hey, Nathan!
Yeah, boy.
You just got yourself a pair of tickets to tonight's game.
No crap.
No crap. Crazy. I would never lie to you, my friend. Congratulations.
I know, Mikey. Okay, well, I appreciate that. That's awesome.
I appreciate you. You know your Rangers. You know your OHL. I'm going to put you on hold so we can get your info, and then the tickets are going to be sent to you by 2:00 today.
A little thing here. I played with Kazakis there in the MTHL back in the day.
You did not.
Yes, sir.
I want stories. When I get your email address, you and I are going to chat, buddy.
I got some good stories.
I can't wait. I love it. Crackers is such a beauty. All right, Nate, hang on, okay?
All right, buddy.
Thank you. All right. I love that. Played with Rangers associate coach and assistant general manager Jeff Kurzakis back in the day, huh? I'm getting those stories, Mr. Kurzakis. I am getting those stories. Okay, Nathan has one pair of tickets, number 1. We have one more pair of tickets to give away. See, not the easiest, but not the hardest. Nathan came through with 2 answers. Let's see how Jim can do. Jim, good afternoon.
Not the easiest, but not.
Oh, Jim, you got to turn down that radio, my friend.
I apologize.
That's all right. You still with me?
I'm here, yeah.
Attaboy. Okay. Wait a minute. Why am I still hearing an echo?
I'm not sure. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay. Can you hear me okay? I want to make sure you can hear these questions.
Yes, I can.
Attaboy. Okay. Are you ready for your Rangers trivia?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. Jim, you have an email address, right?
That's correct.
Perfect. Okay, we got everything we need. Now we just need 2 answers. 1 answer per ticket. Here we go. The Kitchener Rangers acquired 4 players via trades this season. Name any one of those players.
Sam O'Reilly.
Sam O'Reilly is correct, Jim. Question number 2. The Kitchener Rangers acquired players from 3 different teams in trades this season. Name one of those teams.
We'll go down the highway, the 401, to the London Knights.
Jimmy, you're a genius. I'm going to call you Genius Jim. That's where Sam O'Reilly and Jared Woolley came from.
Well, thank you.
No, Jim, way to go, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
I appreciate you showing your Rangers and OHL fandom, my friend. You're going to the game tonight.
All right. And I'll remind everyone, too, let's get those tickets out to Kelowna. Get on the wagon now.
Attaboy. I like it, Jim. I like where you're coming from. All right. Hang on for just a sec. I'm going to put you on hold. We'll get your info, and then we'll get you those tickets, okay?
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
You too, Jim. Really appreciate it. There you go. Just like that. I only went through 5 of the 10 questions I had sitting here. There you go. And Frank was all worried before. I was being too exclusionary. I think we got there. I think we did pretty good. I think you know your Kitchener Rangers. You listen to this station. You know that this is your home for Kitchener Rangers hockey. You're pumped for the playoffs. And Jim and Nathan are going to see the Rangers tonight take on the Saginaw Spirit, thanks to our buddy Gord Harris of Harris Law, who not only sponsors our pregame show, but he's just an all-around hell of a guy. Like, I know the man personally, hell of a guy. I'll just put that out there for you. I cannot wait for tonight's game. All right, the tickets have been given away. It is Free Phones Friday on the show, where we keep the phone lines open, take calls from you as we close out another week together. Bill is with us. Good afternoon, Bill.
Hi, Mike. Mike, I was a little surprised when the question about what division does the Rangers play in, and the answer was Midwestern.
That's right, Bill. It's the Midwest Division.
Yeah, but Mike, I looked in the paper just now. They have the full schedule in for all the OHL playoffs, and it's listed as Western Division.
Western Conference, Bill. It's the Western Conference playoffs and the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Well, then why is it Midwest?
Well, it's the division. There are 4 divisions in the league and 2 conferences. There you go.
Okay, well, you cleared that. One other thing while I got you.
Sure, I'm here for you, Bill.
Last week when they played the final home game, they played Sarnia.
Yes.
And there was a bunch of nonsense at the end of the third period. And you had a caller call in, and he said he's been around the OHL for a long time. And he said that Sam O'Reilly would receive a 2-game suspension.
That's right. He did say that.
Did anything ever come of that?
No, sir. And this is, Bill, this is a really good reminder. See, we were talking earlier about the post-game show. You get all kinds of muckety-mucks calling your show and telling you how smart they are, right? And, in fairness, the gentleman who called wasn't miles off base, but it wasn't an automatic suspension. Depending on... So Sam O'Reilly got a 10-minute misconduct for abusive official. He must have said something he shouldn't have said.
Okay.
So because he only got a 10-minute misconduct, that's it. The game ends, the penalty ends, it's all done. If he had received a game misconduct, it's possible he would have gotten a suspension. But it was not automatic, as the caller said last week. So Sam O'Reilly will be in the lineup tonight.
Well, we need him, I'll tell you.
You bet we do.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bill. Great to hear from you. Love talking Kitchener Rangers hockey. Love talking about this wonderful region where we live. That's what Free Phones Friday is all about. That's what we cover on this show, issues that are impacting us, and maybe you've got some thoughts on those issues. Every Friday, along with Free Phones Friday, is an all-request Friday. And this week, we are playing power ballads, because last week we did disco and we needed a little bit of a palate cleanser. And Heather, who is Farwell's Force member number 92, said, my favorite song fits perfectly with this theme. Heather wanted to hear a little Aerosmith. I'm not even going to tell you the name of the song because you already know. Greg really understood the assignment. Farwell's Force member number 38 wanted to hear some Winger. And so we play it miles away on this All Request Friday. Power Ballads edition. It's also Free Phones Friday, the way we close out our show together every week. Let's get right back to the lines. Glenn is with us. Good afternoon, Glenn.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
That's good. Game day, baby.
Game day, baby.
I'm calling because I want to get a number from you, if I can.
You certainly can. Just hang on a second here. I moved my papers. I've got them here. Here we go. I got you. Okay. I got a big mess going on in here today, Glenn. I will not tell a lie. Okay. All right. How would you like number 363?
363. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Glenn, what is the first letter of your last name?
G.
Glenn G. Double G.
Oh, no. Sorry. I misunderstood you. It's an M.
An M. As in Mike, I like that name. All right, Glenn M., you are now Farwell's Force member number 363.
Okay.
Now, wait, I should have checked first. Hang on. Sorry. I just interrupted you, but I apologize for that. But do you listen for 15 minutes every day, Glenn?
Oh, more than that.
Okay, good. You're good then. You can still be number 363.
Yeah, I listen to all the Ranger games.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
And love your show.
I love to hear that.
And now I have some questions for you, if that's okay.
Absolutely it is. Fire away.
Because you're going to love this.
Okay.
I know it already. But
all right.
I just want to know. I understand that you're a big Leafs fan. Is that right?
Sadly, yes, I am.
Okay. I also know that you're a big Daryl Sittler fan.
Oh, my right? Glenn, don't even get me started about the first time I met Daryl Sittler. Yes, sir, I am. Good old St. Jacobs boy.
Yes, sir. So am I. I'm born and raised in St. Jacobs.
Love it.
Do you happen to know Daryl's second name?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
Is it Glenn?
It happens to be my middle name, yes.
Really?
Yeah. My mom, okay, and his father are brother and sister, which makes Daryl my first cousin.
Wait, hang on. Daryl Sittler is your first cousin?
Yes, sir.
Can we have dinner together sometime, the three of us? What do you think? Call up your cousin. Come on, Glenn.
Yeah, my mother and his father are brother and sister.
Amazing.
And they're both dead now, but I mean, you know.
Did you ever get tickets to a game? Did the cousins get to go watch him at Maple Leaf Gardens?
We used to go when he was a London Knight.
Whoa. Be careful. Watch your language on the show.
I know.
That's okay. That team you're allowed to say. That's okay.
But we used to go when he played down there.
Sure.
And then we became Kitchener Ranger fans, of course.
Because you came to your senses. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't much like London either. But that was back in the 70s, so I don't know if it was different back then or not, but, you know. But, yeah, that's just a little bit of history. I thought maybe you might enjoy that.
I certainly did. Glenn, it's great to hear from you. Welcome to Farwell's Force, and thanks for calling today.
Thank you, sir.
Good to hear. You too. Bye-bye now. And listen, nothing at all wrong with the London Knights. I know they're the arch rival of the Kitchener Rangers, but they're just out there doing their thing, just like the Kitchener Rangers are doing theirs. London opens their playoff tonight against Sault Ste. Marie. We open our playoff tonight against the Saginaw Spirit. And as we wind down Free Phones Friday and All Request Friday, I promised I would sneak in more because we had so many requests. And I think I would be remiss if I didn't play the request from one of the biggest Rangers fans I know. And I know she and her less half, sorry, Rick, but you know that Leanne is top shelf, right? As the guys, we're always the lesser in the relationship. And Leanne, on this All Request Friday, wanted to hear a little bit of Meatloaf.
And now our bodies are so close and tight. It never felt so good, it never felt so right. And we're glowing like the metal on the edge of a knife. Glowing like the metal on the edge of a knife. Come on, hold on tight. Oh, come on, hold on tight. Oh, it's cold and lonely
on your All Request Friday. I don't know if I'm going to catch the devil for playing extra songs today, but what the heck? It's a talk show with a little bit of music on Fridays. Elias is with us on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon, Elias.
Good afternoon, Mike. How are you, my friend?
I am very good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I can't wait. The Blue Jays is starting tonight.
It's a very exciting day.
Very exciting day. All the way to the World Series this time.
I like it. We got there last time. We just lost the last game.
Last game, I remember really was really very sad that time. But anyway, we are back to the Blue Jays. And now also I'm glad the Rangers all the way to Memorial.
I hope so. Somebody said earlier, let's book our tickets for Kelowna. That's where the Memorial Cup's being played. We'll slow that down a little bit, but we're hoping.
We're gonna book then.
Okay, let's go, Elias. You buy the first round of...
Go, Mike.
Thank you, Elias. It's good to hear from you today. I love the enthusiasm. It's a game day, baby. Playoff game day. I'm going to get out of here, go over there, and we'll see you at the rink tonight. If you can't be there, Josh Piercy and I have your Harris Law pregame show starting at 6:30 right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. That is 570 News Radio. My name is Mike Farwell. You are a force for good. Bye for now.